And I do want to give you a warning first. There is a possibility that there are spoilers in this video. So if you're the type of person that don't like watching videos that give spoilers to movies because you're a movie head like me, I would suggest you click the next video. Hey you guys, it's your girl Kelsey Janae. Welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am here with, I think this is my very first list video, and of course, as you can tell by the title of the video, I am about to list my top 10 favorite movies. And I do want to give you a warning first. There is a possibility that there are spoilers in this video. So if you're the type of person that don't like watching videos that give spoilers to movies because you're a movie head like me, I would suggest you click the next video. Number 10 on my list is a movie called The Skeleton Key. And it is a movie based in like the marshes, or I would say kind of like the bayou area of Louisiana. It's about a girl that gets hired as basically a live-in care nurse for an older gentleman that had a stroke. And as she moves into this house and is living in this house, she starts finding things that are pretty skeptical. And she finds out that the owners of the home are basically into voodoo. I would say this movie is like Invader of the Body Snatchers to the 10th power, if you will. Except it's including voodoo and witchcraft. But the girl, you know, she finds out that the owners are into voodoo, and they snatch the bodies of these children that they used to work for. They were African-American servants back in the days, and they end up snatching the bodies of these children. And as the children grew up, she found out that it's the owners of this home, and the female owner, she wants to basically switch her soul into the body of the young nurse. So she goes through, you know, the trials and tribulations of a typical horror supernatural type of movie, where, you know, she's trying to avoid somebody snatching her body, basically. And I love this movie because it has like a lot of twists and turns. It's very suspenseful. It's a very fun movie to watch. I don't think it did that well in the theaters. Actually, I don't think it has that many great reviews, but I love watching the movie. And whenever I see that it's on, or if it's on like, you know, Prime or Tubi or any type of, you know, movie streaming service, I would like to watch it, whether I have to buy it or not. I love to watch that movie. So number 10, and of course, what is a list without a Disney movie? So my favorite Disney movie, you guys, is The Princess and the Frog. And this movie is actually based in Louisiana as well. You know, back in the days, I believe, of the flapper times. And as I think about it, this movie has a lot to do with voodoo and witchcraft as well. Don't judge me on that, but I love that movie. I love the singing of the movie. I love the time of the movie. I love the animations. Anika Noni Rose, I love her. She is so freaking talented. A very awesome Tony Award-winning actress, and she gave her all in that movie, and I really love that movie. And actually, to speak on Disney movies, I think that The Princess and the Frog probably has my favorite cartoon villain, outside of course Scar from The Lion King, which I love The Lion King as well, but that's a movie for another time. But outside of Scar from The Lion King, it has my favorite cartoon villain, which is Dr. Facilier. And he is basically a voodoo priest in the movie. And he turns the prince in the movie into a frog. So if you know the story, of course, of The Princess and the Frog, it's not a new story. Disney just came out with their own rendition. And of course, the main reason, of course, why I love the movie, outside of the acting and the animation and the songs, I love the fact that it is, you know, it has a black princess. And, you know, even though the movie came out when I was grown, it still kind of touched me because, you know, we have all these little kids coming up, and even me, the little kid in me, was happy to be able to finally see a black Disney princess. And I so enjoyed that movie. I love that movie. I watch it anytime I see that it comes on. I made my boyfriend watch that movie, and he loved it. it's just an awesome movie. So number 8 on my list is Grease. And I don't know, if you're not a person that's into musicals, of course you probably haven't seen Grease or don't know much about it or anything, but Grease is my favorite musical. I love musical type movies. You know, some people say I hate musicals, you know, they do too much singing, just get to the plot of the movie, whatever. But I love me a good musical, and Grease is my absolute favorite musical. Of course, it's about a young girl that meets a guy. She's Australian, and she ends up moving to the United States. He's from the United States, and she ends up moving into his town and end up going to his school. And it's really about their relationship, and of course the trials and tribulations of high school. You know, high school trials and tribulations, basically. You know, they have their friends, and they have fun, and they go out, and they go to movies, go to drive-in movies. You know, it's a movie based in the late 1950s, and of course a musical, and it's based off of a play. But I love the music in that movie. My favorite character probably in that movie is Betty Rizzo. She's my favorite. I heard the song that she sings on her own is my favorite song in that movie. It's basically a really great and fun musical. The songs are very catchy. You will find yourself singing them. Of course, I have several of the soundtrack songs downloaded on my phone, on my Apple Music. So it's just an all-around awesome movie. They did great with the acting. I can't say too much about the sequel, but because it's not on my list, of course, but that's another story. I would say they should not have done that movie. But anyway, I love Grease. So number 7 on that is the movie Hocus Pocus. I don't know what human being on this planet doesn't love the movie Hocus Pocus. It is one of my favorite. It is like a dark fantasy comedy type of movie. I'm not gonna say too much about it because I mean I'm pretty sure a lot of people see it. They play this movie every Halloween. As a matter of fact, I think it's actually still on Disney Plus right now, and I may watch it this weekend. I'm just coming up on a week-long vacation. It's Saturday right now, but I'm coming up on a week-long vacation, and I got time to watch movies, and I love me some movies. So my boyfriend and we're both on vacation, so we're gonna be some movie watching fools. But I probably rewatch Hocus Pocus. I love that movie. Of course, it's about these witches from the 1600s that are hung. You know, because you know back then they were hanging anybody that they thought looked like a daggone witch. But they hung them, and coming back to present day, this movie's back in the 90s, coming back to present day 90s, there was a kid who was a virgin that lit a candle, and it brought these women back, and they're basically soul snatching, kid killing witches, and they do this to stay young, you know. So throughout the whole movie they're running from these witches, trying to get them. And my favorite character in the movie probably Billy. He's a zombie, and he doesn't say much, but he's freaking awesome. I love me some Billy. But like I said, I'm not gonna say too much about that movie. Everybody has seen, that I know, has seen Hocus Pocus. A lot of people love Hocus Pocus. It's one of my favorite go-to Halloween movies. Even if it's not Halloween, I would still watch that movie if it's on TV. It's my stuff. So anyway, and that's another movie about witchcraft. As you see, I kind of got a pattern going here that I didn't even realize. But anyway, number 6 on my list is a movie called The Craft. It's another witchcraft type movie. It's a supernatural horror type of movie. It's about this young girl that moves to, I believe, Los Angeles from San Francisco, I think. I can't remember exactly where she moved from. I know it was somewhere in California, but she moved to Los Angeles with her stepfather, well, excuse me, her father and her stepmother. And you know, she has to adjust to being the new girl in school or whatever, and she kind of catches the eye of the leader of this girl group. They're basically outcasts or whatever, you know, kids bully them. They're kind of gothic, they dressed in black, you know the type. I love black, by the way, that's my favorite color. But they take to her, and they find out basically that she does witchcraft, and they're in this type of group where they worship this deity, and they think that she can be like the fourth the fourth person to their group that can help them practice witchcraft. So of course they start doing that. They start practicing witchcraft. They start using their witchcraft to get back at some of their bullies in school. The leader of the girl group, she kind of gets the big head with it, and she gets obsessed with the magic, and she gets dangerous with the magic. So of course the new girl, she, to me, is probably the most powerful witch in the movie. She just really doesn't know how to work her magic until she starts learning or whatever. But she had to knock this girl down a notch because she was like really becoming dangerous. She tried to kill her, and she had to use witchcraft to snatch away her powers, as well as the other girls. You know, they turned on her and all that. But I love The Craft. It's a really good movie. It's another one of the movies that you can watch during Halloween or anytime. I watch it anytime that I catch it on TV or any streaming service. It's just one of those throwback good feeling movies that I really love. Okay, number 5 is a movie called Eve's Bayou. So this movie, I love all the actors in the movie. Lynn Whitfield, Journey Smollett, Samuel L. Jackson. They put on, to me, a very powerful, I would say not a powerful movie, but they just did like awesome when it comes to the acting. Of course, this movie is about a young girl that lives, I believe it's set in the 60s, and they live again in Louisiana, and she has an auntie that sees, you know, basically sees into the future. And she has a sister and a brother, and she one day she was at a party, her family was having a party, and she wakes up and she sees her father, like she falls asleep in like a shed, and she wakes up and she sees her father cheating on her mother. So throughout the movie, and this is another movie that's based in Louisiana, in like a bayou area. I think it's Louisiana. I'm gonna have to recheck that, but I think it's Louisiana, but it's in the bayou area, because I think Florida has like bayou type areas or marsh type areas, but I think it actually is based in Louisiana because they're a Creole American family. And she ends up trying to use voodoo, a voodoo priestess, to basically get back at her father. She basically wanted her father dead, because she was like, you're not gonna do my mama like that and get away with it. So it kind of goes through, you know, her going through that notion of hating her father. And, you know, she found out where her sister told her that her father did something to her as well. And so she just really came to hate her father, and she just wanted him gone. So throughout the movie, she's trying to figure out how she can, you know, repay her father and everything. And the movie is really sad at points, but then it's also really good. Like I said, the acting is really awesome. I like the time frame of the movie. I like the scenery. I like the, you know, the big beautiful house and the bayou and all that stuff, and just the timing of the movie. I just really love. I really love the concept and the plot. It's one of my favorite movies. And then number 4, I have one of my favorite slasher movies. And anybody that knows me knows I love, like I said, love horror movies. But my number 4 on this list is Child's Play 2. So most people know about Child's Play, and of course most people know about the Chucky doll. Actually, when the first movie came out, I believe it was like, it really didn't do well in the theaters or whatever. It made most of its money when it went to VHS, and it's really like a cult classic. But the second part of this, the second installment of this film franchise is on this list, because I just kind of like the storyline. It's, you know, the killer, the Lakeshore Strangler, you know, possessed, of course, this doll. If you know the story of Child's Play and Chucky doll, possessed this doll when he got killed in the first movie. And of course the second movie is, of course, Chucky still chasing after the protagonist in the movie. And, you know, he follows him to this, you know, this boy is now in a boy's home. His mother has been placed in a psychic ward, and so now he's in this boy's home, and he ends up being fostered by a family. And of course Chucky follows him and, you know, tries to snatch his body. Again, of course, again, another body snatching movie, another voodoo type movie. But, you know, he uses voodoo, the killer used voodoo in order to transfer his body into the Chucky doll in the first movie. So the second movie is a continuation of him trying to get the young boy and transfer his body into, you know, his soul into his body. And I love this movie. I love Brad Dourif. He is one of my favorite horror actors. I just love his voice. It's I don't know what it is, even though, you know, Chucky, that guy used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid. And there's like a story I remember of playing hide and seek at a friend's house when we were kids. And I remember, you know, when you play hide and seek, you can have you can basically, if there's like a really dark room or whatever, they had like this laundry room in their basement. We were all in the basement. We were playing hide and go seek after the party or whatever. And I remember hiding in the laundry room, and, you know, whoever was, you know, was the catcher or whatever in hide and seek, they found everybody, and I was hiding in the room in the dark. I wasn't alone. I can hear other kids in there, but the spot that I chose, when they opened the you know, opened the door and turned up the lights, and, like, you know, it's time to switch the person that's going to be catching the people that are playing hide and seek, I turned my head, and when they turned the lights on, they had a freaking Chucky doll. I probably almost jumped out of my skin, y'all, but that's another story again for another time. But I love Chucky. One of my favorite horror slasher movies, slasher franchises, period. So, okay, number 3 on the list is Girl Interrupted. Now, I don't know if a lot of people have seen this movie. It's, to me, kind of like a cult classic. It didn't do too well with, you know, when it came out in the theaters, and of course the reviews aren't the best, but I love Angelina Jolie's character in this movie, and of course Winona Ryder, she's the main character, but it's basically about a girl that has borderline personality disorder, and she winds up having an affair with a professor of hers, as well as she has like this little casual dating boyfriend or whatever, and she's placed into a psychic ward. And the movie is basically about her time there. It is based off of a book that a woman wrote, the main character in the film. It is based off of a book. I have not read the book. I actually started listening to it one time, but I don't know why I didn't end up finishing. It was a long time ago. I think I had it like on my library app, and I was listening to it while at work. But for whatever reason, I was probably also listening to a Jack Reacher book at the same time, which I love Jack Reacher books. So that probably kept my interest, and I, you know, let the movie, the book, it kind of expired, and I had to return it back to the library or whatever. But I love that movie. It, like I said, it's about her time in the psychic ward, the friends that she meets there. It's a lot of craziness going on, but it's, and I'm not saying like crazy, like crazy, but it's like a lot of fun things to me going on in that movie. It keeps you very interested. The storyline, there's a lot of awesome characters in there. Like I said, Angelina Jolie did an awesome job. Whoopi Goldberg was a nurse in that movie. She did an awesome job. Winona Ryder, Brittany Murphy, which I love. You said Brittany Murphy, God rest her soul. She's so awesome. She's in that movie. There's a lot of awesome characters and a lot of awesome actors in that movie, and I think they did a really good job playing their parts in that movie. The second movie that I have on my list is Child's Play 3. So yes, I do have 2 Child's Play movies in this list from the franchise. I would say that Child's Play 3 is probably my favorite out of there. Of course, I've already talked about Child's Play and what happened with the Lakeshore Strangler and how he transferred his body into the Chucky doll. But this movie, he's still chasing the main protagonist in the movie, except the main protagonist is no longer a little boy. He is now like 16 or 17. He's grown up, you know. He's now in a military school, and of course Chucky finds him. He comes back to life and he finds him, and he still wants to get this boy, and by this time he's trying to get revenge on him, because once he gets to the military school, he finds a new friend to try to transfer his body into. His name is Tyler, little boy. So he's gonna, you know, throughout this movie, he's trying to get Tyler, again, trying to get him to, you know, trying to get to transfer his soul into his body. At the same time, he's trying to revenge Andy, which is the, like I said, the protagonist, the main protagonist of the movie. And I like the the movie, it has a lot of cursing in it because, you know, Chucky has a foul mouth. He don't hold nothing back. He don't care. He's from the 80s, you know, whatever. So it's a very fun movie to me. The cursing, most parts, it cracks me up. The killing is also, to me, very unique and fun. Like I said, it's a slasher movie. Just the whole concept of it. Like I said, the protagonist is in military school and Chucky's haunting him, and, you know, not haunting like a ghost, but, you know, haunting, like trying to get him, trying to revenge on him, trying to kill him. And, you know, the characters in this, you know, the protagonist becomes friends with all these people. They start popping up dead and all that stuff. So, you know, it's a typical slasher movie. It's my favorite, like I said, my favorite installment in that franchise. So my number one favorite movie, and this is actually my favorite movie of all time, and it is a movie called What Lies Beneath. And this is another one of those supernatural horror type movies, and it has Michelle Pfeiffer is the main character. And this movie is very, very suspenseful. I would put it more like on a suspense type list, but that's because when it comes to horror movies, it takes a lot for a horror movie to scare me. And I mean, like, the plot, the characters, everything has to jump out to me to make me actually really scared of a movie. So like I said, I think this is more suspenseful than anything, but it does actually involve like ghost type activities because it is a supernatural horror. So it's about a woman, Michelle Pfeiffer. She's married, and her husband live in this big, beautiful house on this lake. And she suddenly starts becoming haunted by this spirit. And she wants to, of course, find out who this spirit is and why they're basically bothering her. And it is a woman. And so she starts to find like little clues or whatever to lead up to basically finding out, you know, who this girl is and what happened to her. And just like a small little storyline there. She has Michelle Pfeiffer's character, she has an accident, and a car accident that basically makes her lose her memory. So when she starts seeing like this ghost or whatever, and start, you know, getting these different visions and all this stuff, her and her friend helps her have a seance. And it basically draws her a little closer to the ghost of the girl that is haunting her. And she finds out that the ghost of the girl that's haunting her was actually a student of her husband. Her husband was a professor. And she finds out that it's a student, and she's trying to figure out, you know, trying to figure out, why is this girl haunting me, and you know, how does she know my husband? So when she confronts him about it or whatever, he tells her that it was a student that basically had a crush on her. So as the story goes on, she's like, this girl is not haunting me because she had a crush on my husband. Something's going on. So she finds out that he was actually having an affair with her. And she was okay. She's like, okay, I got this part. So she confronts him again or whatever. And she said, yes. He tells her, yeah, you know, we were having an affair. And, you know, she was like, well, how did she die? Well, you know, I tried to break it off with her, and she ended up killing herself or whatever. So she's like, oh, okay. So, you know, the haunting keeps going on. She's like, you know, if this is the stuff that I'm finding out, like, why is this girl so haunting me, basically? So she has like another vision, and she ends up finding out that the girl didn't kill herself. Her husband killed the girl. So she confronts her husband again, and you know, he's like, yeah, I know. Okay. I had to, because, you know, she was threatening to tell you and all the other stuff, whatever. So I was like, okay. And it was like an accident. So I'm like, okay, if this happened or whatever, and you try to hide it, you know, let's call the cops. Let's find this girl body. Let's call the cops. Let's report it if it's an accident. So he's like, sure, whatever. And this fool pretends to call the cops, but he actually calls 411. You know, back in the day when they had house phones or whatever, they still have house phones. But back when they had house phones, you call 411 to get information or whatever, or reach an operator. So he actually ends up flipping on her, and he tries to kill his wife. But of course, the ghost helps her to get back at him, and she actually ends up killing him. She made him drown. So that's as you can tell, I went a little bit more into the storyline of this movie because this is my favorite movie. Anytime it ever comes on, I always watch it. I love that movie. I think Michelle Pfeiffer did an awesome job in the movie. Harrison Ford, he was a husband. He did an awesome job in that movie. It's very suspenseful, a very fun movie for me to watch because, of course, horror movies are my favorite. So I love watching those, and I have fun watching them. Not everybody likes horror movies. You know, like, why would you like to be scared? Like I said, it was a very suspenseful movie to me. It didn't really scare me too much, but it had a lot of jump scares, which would probably typically scare someone else that's not into scary movies. But I love that movie. So that was my top 10 list of my favorite movies. Of course, on this as well, I do have honorable mentions, and I'm just going to list them here. Number one, I have, now I'm not going to number them actually because it's not in any particular order, just like my other list, but Beloved. I love that movie. It had Whoopi Goldberg and Danny Glover in it. Pulp Fiction, another Samuel L. Jackson movie with John Travolta, which actually John Travolta was in the movie Grease as well. I love me some Pulp Fiction. The movie cracked me up when I saw it. But I actually am a late watcher to Pulp Fiction, but I love that movie. The movie The Witches. That's a very awesome, fun, kid, scary, horror, supernatural movie. I love The Witches. It's another classic. They actually remade it. I think HBO remade it, but I haven't watched it yet. It doesn't have very good reviews, but I might watch it maybe. Like I said, I'm on vacation this week, so I may watch it. Another honorable mention is Black Panther. The movie Black Panther that came out with Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan and Lupita, I can't think, what's her last name? Nyong'o? Am I saying that right? That movie was freaking awesome. I love that. I watch it every time I see it. It's on Disney Plus, whatever. I love Black Panther. Avengers Endgame. That movie was freaking awesome. Toy Story 3. That's another Disney movie on my list, but even though it's an honorable mention, that's my favorite one out of the franchise. Each and every Toy Story makes me cry, but that one I'll probably boo-hooing up in that theater as long as everybody else. Another movie is Death Becomes Her. This is another cult classic type of movie. If you've never seen it, see it. You gotta watch it. I'm gonna have the poster here, but you gotta watch Death Becomes Her with Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn. I love that movie. Love that movie. And Bruce Willis was in that movie. Another movie is WALL-E. Who doesn't love WALL-E? That's another feel-good cartoon movie that pulls at your heartstrings, and that movie made me cry. It has so much good story, and the characters, you just fall in love with it. I love WALL-E. Love WALL-E. Another movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Of course, I have to have that on my list because I didn't have a Tim Burton movie on my favorites list. I had to have that on an honorable mention because I love me some Tim Burton. Whatever Tim Burton made, I love me some Tim Burton. I love him and I love his whole crew. And I mean down to Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham. I love all of them. All of them. Love me some Tim Burton and his movies. But Nightmare Before Christmas is probably my favorite. But, you know, along with a lot of other people, that's one of those movies like Hocus Pocus. You can watch it. It always comes on around Halloween, and it's a very fun movie. And the last movie on that honorable mention list is a movie called 13 Ghosts. This movie is a remake. I have never seen the original. I might actually watch it if I can find it. It's really, you know, 13 Ghosts was a movie from way back, way before probably my parents were born. So it's a remake, and the movie, some people may think it's corny. It's another horror movie about, of course, 13 ghosts. And I'm not going to go into that because it's an honorable mention movie. But I love the movie. I love the characters in there. Rodiga, the rapper, she was in that movie. I loved her in that movie. But that's my honorable mentions list, y'all. So that was my entire list of my favorite movies, of course, including the honorable mentions. Let me know, you guys, if you want me to do another list like this. I mean, we got plenty of lists, video games, TV shows, whatever. Just let me know in the comment box below. So I do want to thank you guys for watching, and of course I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and share. And when you hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification bell so you can know when I post new videos. Deuces.